It's not that I can't stop, it's that I won't stop. I make it hot.
I did shit going on right now, man. Ronnie Rockwell, Static Selector show up. Showing up in New York City, all the way to Cali, around the world, man. It's some real DJ shit.
Party get to jumping, we get to tearing up the spot. Okay, let's play my way, shorty. I say take it off. I show you where I live. Take it in my crib and proceed to break you off. You know I like it when you get the dance next to me. It's no secret I'm attracted to you sexually.
Some real DJ shit going on right now, man. Ronnie Rockwell, Static Selector show up. He's showing up in New York City, all the way to Cali, around the world, man. Some real DJ shit.
Take a ride on the magic stick. Like when I commit to an artist, I'm hoping that they get a chance to have experience what I've experienced. I want their next album to be the largest debut in hip hop album. Yeah. You know, like I want to, cause I want to help you be good enough to do that. You know, like that. If this wasn't true, then I wouldn't have been on the first 3 singles from Game's album. You see what I'm saying? To get the public to actually appreciate him, I had to do the records. Yeah. You know, and if you was in the studio with Dr. Dre with his hit production for a year straight, why would you need 3 songs from me to start your album? It's because even Dre felt like what he was doing wasn't good enough or up to standard until I actually offered those songs. Okay. You know, like the songs that he did have was music that I made with Dre, not with Game with me. How We Do, Hate It or Love It, Church for Thugs, Special, Higher, West Side Story. I mean, and I feel like I've said this so many times that it's like I'm almost tired of explaining it to you. You know what I mean? And I wrote about it on So Disrespectful. I said Dre ain't say he didn't say nothing the whole time. Like, and it's just because he's not really confrontational. Okay. That he won't, you know, voice his opinion on. He just.
What's good with the YouTube? It's Coffee. Tapping back in with another one, man. And oh man, what the fuck? Like the game done got exposed again, right? Anyone who's been following the channel, you know we've been blogging on this. I done laid off, you know, a little bit on this joke of a promo run. Like keeping it a buck, this has just been a mess. All bad. I've been calling it Drillmatic. You know what I mean? Like this is a pivotal point in the game's career. He's trying to get out from up under this hole that he's in. All the debt, all the flunkery, all the tarnish that he's put on his image and him as an MC. And here we go now where this old lie that the game been telling for the longest time, Billy Joel voice, about his debut album, the documentary, trying to talk about Fifth ain't really have ish to do with it like that. We see now that 50 Cent was indeed telling the truth off the rip. He pretty much wrote half the album, like 6 tracks, you know what I mean? That you see there's a interview where 50 Cent was talking about how Jimmy Iovine and the staff hit him up like, yo, this guy, he can rap a little something, but he can't really write like that, you know? And Fifth was like, yo, no problem. I got you. I'll fix it, you know? And it's just so wild too, because a lot of those tracks, I don't know if all of them, but a lot of them were supposed to be over there on the Massacre album. But Fifth was like, man, I gotta access some music. We'll put Game on this one. We'll, you know what I'm saying? We'll do this. We'll give him this track. I'll still flow on this one, but we'll give him a verse on there. Flat out writing songs and everything for the Game. And to keep it a buck with y'all, man, we know this about the Game. Like, aside from knowing that a lot of this image and ish he was pushing was fake as fluck. I mean, come on, guys. How much can you really trust and believe a guy that all of a sudden, you know, in the beginning with that of his career, that mean mug, one of his eyes didn't open all the way after a couple albums in. That just stopped. Like, you know what I mean? Like, what's good? Did your eye magically fix itself or something? Come on, man. Y'all know what I'm talking about, you know? But for real, if you go back and listen to a lot of the early Game music, from JT the Bigger Figure over there when he was rocking with him, to the early mixtapes Hell, there's even one song that was on the documentary where he still had this like old flow where he was all raspy and everything like that. Total different voice delivery, presence on the mic, everything, right? Then there was other times where he was trying to kind of sound like Shine Poe, you know? And it just goes to show you that Game definitely had talent and all that, but he didn't really have an identity as an MC. You know, like, it's no lie. It's a fact that he was going to get dropped from Aftermath. You know, he was going to be just like another hitman, Bishop Lamont, or, you know, the list goes on of MCs that were on Aftermath with Dre, you know, seen in the studio. Hell, Hitman was all over the Chronic 2000 or 2001, whatever the fuck you want to call it. Even got, you know, featured at the end of the Forgot About Dre video, and his Ish never came out. Like, we know Dre, just a lot of times it doesn't come together. You know, individuals that are working with him, you know, they go left when Dre goes right. All of a sudden, things ain't looking the way they were, and they leave the label without ever dropping any music. You feel me? Like, I mean, hell, even one of the GOATs, greatest of all time, the God MC, Rakim Allah, you know, didn't drop his project with Dre. But that's a whole nother story. We're not comparing the GOAT to what we're talking about here with Game. But y'all know what I'm saying. Numerous dudes came and went on Aftermath, more than y'all would even think. Or maybe I'm exaggerating a little bit, but the point is, he was over there on the label for a long time. He was all over mixtapes. Hell, even go back to, you guys remember the Shady Records Invasion mixtape? The one that had all those Benzino disses by Eminem. He had a track on there to the Eric Sermon React beat, and he was rapping totally different, you know? Like, Game had definitely made a splash and a buzz on the mixtape circuit, but Aftermath didn't know what to do with him, and they were gonna let him go. And we know the rest of the story. They said, let's put him with G-Unit. We'll make him the Fifth Element. Y'all remember that mixtape, right? You know, being that they already had the, you know, 3 core members from Queens, Buck from the South, in the Game from the West Coast, like, it fit perfectly. It would have been a good look, you know? And then we come to find out that, you know, from Big Face and from other dudes that been new Game had planned on getting at 50 the whole time. Like, that's the ultimate snake move. This dude saves you from getting dropped, teaches you a lot about, you know, making hit songs. You feel me? Takes you in the lab, gives you music, all that. And then, and even pushes back his own album, The Massacre, and gives you some of the music, all for you to shine, only for you to snake the fuck out of him and diss him. It's ridiculous. You know, it just exposes the true character of Game, and it's the icing on the cake with all the BS that has happened leading up to this album that has just, you know, been the exclamation point on the downfall of Game's career. Like, instead of calling this album Drillmatic or Elmatic, they should be calling it the Downward Spiral, because that's what this is, you know. And I guess I happen to, you know, not even dig into the whole news where him and Wack finally had a little rift. We'll get into that one on a whole nother video, as I've been telling y'all for the longest time. Billy Joel voice. Wack 100 got the Game in a chokehold with them dirty politician tactics. Got all kinds of dirt on the Game. Aside from that Rosemo tape that he's ready to leak out the second Game gets out of pocket. Y'all feel me? Like, for real, for real. I hate to go over it and reiterate it over and over again, as I have on all these videos that I've done leading up to this Elmatic drop, which comes out tonight, y'all. I mean, hopefully the album's fire, because other than all this, he just been looking silly, okay? The album been pushed back 3-4 times, didn't come out when it was supposed to come. The release party, the album didn't release. That was another time it got pushed back. It was a dope event, but your manager's on some flockery and gets chased up off the stage and makes the whole event look like a joke and overshadows what you got going. The whole Eminem situation where you're gonna diss him, you don't diss him. the diss track's ready, it's coming, you guys hype it all up, only to not drop it and lose that momentum. And then when you see with the track list, the Black Slim Shady's on there, and it's like, what was the point in all that, of building all that hype that you were about to drop it, and everyone waited, done, forgot about it, and quite frankly, is looking at Game like that was some cornball-ish that he did, you know? And then now, look what he's doing as well, trying to beg for attention from Eminem. You see, he jumped on Facebook, of all places, and jumped in the comments talking about can she rap on some post that someone threw up that had all these pictures of Haley Jade. Like, come on, what in the fuck is that about? Like, jumping all in the comments, talking that BS right leading up to this last week promo run. After all that ish going back and forth, talking about you're gonna diss some, and then it's just weird. You're in the dude's daughter's comments, right? And let's not forget about those, the content of those lyrics in the Black Slim Shady that leaked out, you know, that referenced Haley in a nasty way, you know what I mean? And I know, those weren't his lyrics. I'm telling you, I don't believe that. I believe he put that ish out. That was a trial run to see how the people would react. Like he leaked it to Genius. I don't believe that BS. I know there's some dude online claiming he did it, but I ain't believing it. Whacking Game pay that dude to say that, if you ask me. But aside from just randomly Facebook stalking Haley, you see there's all kinds of headlines regarding Eminem. Oh, he mentions Eminem in LA Leakers freestyle. He disses Eminem, makes fun of his Elvis track, which I've been saying that wasn't a good look. But the point is Game's just going ham trying to get some attention off Eminem. Like, you fucked that up already. You know what I mean? You did the Drink Champs thing and got it buzzing. You mentioned them. You mentioned Fifth. Got the G-Unit-ish buzzing again. You dissed Dre, said Ye did more from you, and from that point on, you fucked up and never capitalized off any of that momentum. You look extra goofy, not dissing, dropping the M diss. Just super mess with it all. And then now, last minute, you want to just keep mentioning them and getting in the headlines. Come on, man. That's some cornball-ish. Comment if y'all agree with me, man. And with this reference track leaking, right? And Game's lie being exposed, which I think all of us kind of always knew. Like I said in the beginning, we always knew Fifth wasn't lying. It makes you wonder why he got the beef heated back up with 50 Cent, knowing that those reference tracks are out there floating around somewhere. Or maybe he didn't think they were. You know, I'm surprised we hadn't heard them sooner. You know, reportedly this came from some random hard drive that was discovered. I wonder who leaked that out. Who do y'all think's behind it? But it's just wild the way this all worked out, right? Like when all this headlines first started coming after that Drink Champs interview, it was wild. Like a lot of individuals, myself included, were like, damn, all these years later, 2022, we're revisiting all this ish with the Game, 50 Cent, Dr. Dre, you know. You feel me? Like going back in time all these years later. And then this disastrous promo run for it to cap off this way and not just put an exclamation point on the mess of the Almatic run and how far Game's career has fallen from grace with all the BS and flunkery. But also, you know, close that chapter of the 50 Cent Game story in G-Unit and all that. You know, it just puts it all in perspective. Straight snaked the guy that he should have been thanking his lucky stars helped him out. And as I just mentioned, Dr. Dre, before I kind of close this video out, in the early clip that I was playing from that interview, which stay tuned, there's a little more I'm going to include at the end. You heard 50 Cent talk about how Dr. Dre was really non-confrontational and stayed out of it and everything like that. I mean, we saw the way it all went. Game ended up off Aftermath or Interscope and ended up on Geffen, you know, and second album, The Doctor's Advocate, no Dr. Dre production. Dre stopped fucking with him. You know, he tried to stop it all when things started going the way they went. Tried to tell Game to fall back. And yo, you're fucking things up with the house that we built over here. Aftermath, Shady, Interscope, G Unit. We got a good thing going, and you want to come in here, we help you out, and you want to destroy everything? The fuck is wrong with you? You know what I mean? And he dissed him too in favor of Kanye West on Drink Champs. Like, Game's behavior, all the BS he's done has just, you know, showed over the years that he moves in a snakish way, and you know, is just funny style dude. You know what I mean? Like, you guys seen all the clips in this, right? Game was about to get dropped, and don't forget as well, in these little different videos we got going, he was in the background of the G Unit videos. He was almost a G Unit background dancer. The Wanna Get to Know You video, the other Joe Ride With You video. Game was in the background cheesing and dancing, man. I think Joe Budden mentioned that when he dissed him, you know what I mean? But that's all I really got on this one. Gonna close it out. It's just all bad for the Game. Drillmatic will be out tonight, I think at midnight, because it drops on the 12th. Hopefully, you know, this ish catches in the algorithm and everyone can tap into this. They've been ishing on me, you know, the algorithm gods and everything. But for Game's sake, hopefully this is a fire album. I mean, we know he does have Hit Boy executive producing it. It is a 30-track album, which at one point in time, when it kept getting pushed back, they started talking about it was going to be an EP. And I was like, damn, man, like, this is supposed to be a 30-track album. Now it's an EP. The fuck is going on? Only for it to still be a 30-track album. Another example of how this promo run is a mess. But thanks for watching, guys. Hit the comments, tap in, let me know your thoughts. Sub up, stay tuned. More videos coming, music, news, sports, and more. I'm out of here, guys. Peace.
Let me ask you a question, right? Do you feel, when you see Game, do you say, yo, why are you talking about 50? You wouldn't even be here if it wasn't for him. You don't say that.
I've never looked at it like that.
Right. But you said that about Beans.
Yeah, I think with Beans, I don't know. I think you, the way you've done it, it's like I said, you defy hip hop history. It's an anomaly. Whereas the Game, I've not really looked at it like that.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, when he comes in, like, he's really there based on his association with 50 Cent initially. I introduced him the same way you felt like Jay-Z put Beans into a space that we recognize Beans. And like, I don't really hear people say that to Game. I don't hear people say, you're really here because of 50 Cent. Like, we know you because of 50 Cent. So how do, how are you so comfortable with disrespecting 50 Cent? It's not your fault, though. You're in the record company. See, there are people, when I tell you that there's certain people that don't have a responsibility to be cool with you because they are just doing business. That's the way I view Interscope as a record company.
Okay.
Like, I have no loyalty to Interscope Records because they have no loyalty to me or anything that I'm doing. It's just what can make some money.
Wow.
You see what I'm saying? Like, that's just the idea of, from both of our perspectives. If it was any different, then they would have had some type of discomfort in promoting anti-50. Right after they go pro-50, they go anti-50 because they haven't made a better business than 50 Cent since 50 Cent.